Good morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from Juneau, Alaska. Today's verse is 1 Peter 3:7. You husbands in the same way live with your wives in an understanding way, as with someone weaker, since she is a woman, and show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered. Now, starting with this, it says you husbands in the same way, and some people say, wait a second, this is unfair. There were 6 verses about how women are supposed to submit, and now just one verse with the husband, and all it says is just live with them in an understanding way. Well, that seems unfair. Well, no, it's not unfair. It says you husbands in the same way as those other 6 verses. In other words, submitting to her just like she submits to you. Remember, in Ephesians, it says we are to submit to one another as husbands and wives. So there is submission going both ways in that. But here's what opens it up a little more. It says, live with your wives in an understanding way as with someone weaker. And I don't believe this refers to physical weakness here. I believe it refers to societal weakness. In other words, your position in society for the woman in Roman society in this day was very low. The husband was the lord of the family, to the point where if the husband found a new religion, it was the wife's duty to simply follow him, and same with the children, because he was the head, he was the lord, and everything rested on his shoulders, as he had all authority and all power in society. And that makes a lot more sense here, because since she is a woman, she's weaker. Now, one idea of that is the first 6 verses seem to indicate a woman who became a Christian, but her husband is still a non-Christian, and she should show love to him through submission, which is a completely beautiful act of love. And with that as her unspoken sermon, she might be able to win him over without a word. Now, in this case, let's say the husband becomes a Christian, and she's not yet a Christian, or at least not by her own choice, but she follows along with this Christianity thing because that's what's expected of her. And so that's why he should live with her in an understanding way, in the same way, submitting to her in love. Let's look at the obvious cross-reference, which is Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her, sacrificed. That's what a husband should do. And yes, submission is part of that sacrifice. Now, back to the main verse, okay? It also says, show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life. Christianity has done more to elevate women than any other religion. And in Christianity, men and women are absolutely equal. Yes, they might have different roles, but they're equal. In other words, it's not like men get more of an inheritance in the kingdom of heaven than women do, or that men get more love from God than women do. It's absolutely equal in God's eyes. The last part says that we have to show her honor her as a fellow heir of the grace of life, so that your prayers will not be hindered. If we mess up our relationship with our husbands or wives, it's going to mess up our household, and it's going to mess up our relationship with God himself. So we really have to make sure that we get this thing right. Now, I don't know him do this all the time, but today's verse is actually written much better in the Message, and I'd like to close with the Message version of this. The same goes for you husbands. Be good husbands to your wives. Honor them, delight in them. As women, they lack some of your advantages. But in the new life of God's grace, you're equals. Treat your wives then as equals, so your prayers don't run aground. And this is why we should choose to love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average Rich, and I hope you have a great week.